Hello and welcome to another gameplay review on the Virkayu gameplay channel. And in this one we have Nautilus in the jungle, and the reason is twofold. One, it's funny and it's an original. Two, I'm seeing Korean high-elo and high-elo across the world start to experiment in very many ways using this pick in the jungle because lockdown is highly valuable, especially when you've got a lot of carries and lanes that you can just support play around. Also, jungle pets. Yeah, that does stuff. Jungle pets make it so that you can essentially vibe with your clears and be pretty healthy, although he is still giga slow. So let's see what exactly happens here. We have a 70% win rate. Challenge jungler using it. I did have a Korean one lined up, but the Korean ones are going with a Dark Harvest, Radiant Virtue, even Shroud, and that makes sense, right? Hey, Dark Harvest for better damage, like the puppies. Oh, look, Elise, I see you dragging the wolf camp there, so I know that you did the wolves, and of course you did the blue, which of course I saw you do, so I can see you're doing a blue quadrant. What might you want to do afterwards? Who knows? Invade me, gank top lane, gank mid lane, let's see. So this ward here super early is obviously giga juicy. We are now crossing at 227. That is highly respectable, actually. That's not terrible. Just to pause it, because that is not that bad, right? Now, we know the Elise is the question mark here. We're pinging it off. We know that this is most likely going to happen. We're just going to queue forward. We're going to max the E, right? Because the E gives us low cooldown. It gives us AoE, the slow scales, the damage scales. It gives us everything we need for farming in the jungle a bit quicker. So now we know that the Elise should have been in this vicinity. So we're going to go ahead and say, yes, let's move to the top lane to see if anything's up. Nothing's up, so we're just going to do that little hook, little aftershock proc, and a little kill. That's super nice. Now the Jace can be snowballed. The Elise, on the other hand, if you look here, has swapped back down to this side. So I'm actually really curious. Let's see what her pathing was like, actually, because this, for me, is absolutely weird. When you do blue into the wolves, into the grump, right? And from Red Team's perspective, we lost vision. All we see, and kind of theorize, is, she could show up here. The Elise sees a level 1 Fiora and the level 2 Jason's like, no, because she knows that Nautilus started here with Leash and we'll be going to the top side. We have deep vision here from, I'm assuming the Pantheon, sorry, Pantheon, yeah, of course. So she loops back down to go to this side. So why didn't you just do Grump Walls in the first place? It's really silly and a waste of time and spaghetti, and the Nautilus is the direct beneficiary of this, but you saw, right? Hey, at least could be in the area. I need to be careful. I need to respect this possibility. I'm not going to just blindly do my red and die. What I'm going to do is not do my red instead of sitting in the bush and waiting to die, and go and have a look because I've got this Jace Prio. I'll do the gank. At least doesn't show up. Cool. That means she's somewhere else. She's 99% now, must be bottom line, which gives me time to do my red side quadrant and then observe if I can do this. Or most likely, at least we'll do that, as predicted by all people all time. So why is Nautilus being used more in the jungle? Because when you can do a 226 blue side into red side cross, it means your full clear isn't atrocious, in that it's fine. You can gank and cut whenever you like. You provide immense amounts of CC for the champion. And obviously we have our W, which gives us that shield, and while that persists, gives us more damage on hit, or from our attacks, it's for 2 seconds, around our attacks. Basically, it says it here. There you go. Nautilus's attacks deal an additional magic damage over 2 seconds to its targets and surrounding enemies. There you go. That's what I wanted to say. And of course, the E is the Riptide and the slow, and the hook is the big-ass Q with a hitbox this big. And our passive is when we walk up to someone, the first attack against them roots them and does physical damage. And of course, the R is the point and click, which is great when you basically, wait a second, that's like Vi. Boom, there you go. Good job, guys. We got their team. It just gives you guaranteed lockdown against a hyper-mobile ADC meta, especially when you've got Zeres and Kai'Sas and Vaynes, and you're expecting to see maybe Vayne top lane and things like this. Just pick CC that's easy to hit, and that also does damage and slows. Because when you hit the hardcore CC, right, you're guaranteed the slow subsequently, and anyone can stack the CC together. Additionally, from the thumbnail and from the introduction here, you'll say, but why full AP? Well, go Aftershock, it gives you resistances for your engage, obviously, gives you all of that cool stuff. But when you have point and click buttons with decent AP ratios, and we got a lot of AP ratios on this kit, basically everywhere, you're gonna have guaranteed damage, right? And so with the CC being guaranteed, it means the damage is likewise guaranteed. So if you can unload a huge amount of damage onto someone who you're trying to lock down, and your team can follow that up, they don't have to follow up with that much. So basically, if you go to a Zeri, and you can hit your ult, then you can hit your hook, then you got the slows, then you got your passive, and then you got your shield to absorb damage. By the time you've unloaded that with Night Harvester, right, your team just kind of has to look and go, and then she dies. And that's essentially the reason why we want to do that. The Koreans have it the other way around, where it's like, okay, I can go Dark Harvest for the damage, and I can just go Even Shroud and amplify the damage my team does to them. And obviously I can use things like Radiant, Virtue for peel, and I can use Locket if I wanted to do that. You've got your choices, right? So there's not one playstyle that really truly works, but Night Harvester is the most rushed and honestly has the best win rate, 49%, almost 50%. The reason why his win rate is only 42% is largely because people are not going Night Harvester, if you can believe it. So the buff to the AP ratios that Nautilus had, I think it was 13.3, really does aid in this as well. And Night Harvester is just being such a stupid item. It's fine, but it's like it's really strong, right? Haste, AP ratios, a little bit of a extra burst damage proc from the passive as well. And haste is beautiful in champions like this, where you just want your CC up as much as possible. And in addition, also gives you a lot of AP and healing. So, sorry, HP. So, you know, that's great for our shield, right? Because that scales with HP as well. So a bit of HP, a bit of damage. It's got everything we need. And here you're seeing it is not a high econ kind of champion. Obviously, you're gonna got a base, you're gonna waste time probing, then you'll do a quadrant, then you'll rotate and get a kill, then we can go do this, and then we can go down to this, but we're really strong 1v1 in the damage profile. Nautilus Jungle is looking as viable as it ever has since it stopped being viable. Like, it feels like 8 years ago. It's been so long. Elise goes top lane, gets a kill on the Fiora, and what I always tell people in coaching, this is right here. Oh, beautiful. To Asgard. This is beautiful, because this is, hey, you're busy doing something. Can I sneak something away that you're going to do afterwards and then disengage? Or can I translate it to this so I'm ahead of you? And now you're like, well, at least just goes, well, what do I do? And that's effectively what you want to make them think after a play, right? We quickly snack that. Elise was going to come down for this, realizes it's gone. Now we can basically say, look, can we go mid lane? Don't evolt yet. Let me scan just to make sure I'm not seen. Did Elise go back up here or did she go down here? Let me hit this to have a look. Ah, I see you. Cool. I'm relaxed. I can go ahead and do this. And the difference here between, so like in the Platinum course and the Diamond course that's coming up, where you have junglers just waste these Scry's, waste their scanners, waste their vision on things that you don't need to waste them on, because if you're just paying attention, you can see, is insane. The difference is insane between that and Challenger. Riptide does the final tick, almost. Fiora is pushing up. We are level 6. Hook hits. Do the auto attack, hit the Riptide slow, activate our shield to get the bonus damage, and we'll keep going. No need to waste our ultimate. Absolutely beautifully done. The ganks are mesmerizing. Mesmerizing because you got to chug a hook, and it's the width of the lane. So no matter how much mobility they have, it's going to hit, right? 100%. From this, let's see how quickly we can do the Herald. Okay. We're moving now. Damage is coming through. Yes, there we go. See, the Ionian Boots is huge as well, because this is now on a 11.67 cooldown, which is pretty high, but once you max it out, it'll be 8.33 at current haste. However, this is at 5 seconds, and obviously this will go down to 4.17 at current haste, so you want to get this E down as much as possible. Loop, 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 loop that spell. Mana cost does become a slight issue, as you can see, but not like a realistic issue, you know what I mean? You're farming, you're clearing, you're doing this, you're in the rivers, you're in the jungle, you're absolutely fine. So, okay, I guess issue was the wrong word, but if you stay out too long, right, and you're not actually farming too long and you're kind of wasting it doing silly things, then it can't catch up to you. But here, this is not an issue at all, actually, which is great, right? This is how you want to see it. We have here the Fiora under turret. We'll just activate that ultimate there, and then we'll go R into a Q, into an E, W. W does the damage in for 2 seconds, right? So if you don't need the shield and you just want to guarantee the kill and you just want to have some extra magic damage over 2 seconds, then that's fine, right? Back to base here, we've got now our Fiendish Codex. We have this sucker. We have 4 stacks on the Dark Shield. We have 20 on the Moss Dumper. We have our Alternator. And the Elise here is 0-2. Yasuo has gone to the bottom lane. Slice and dice and go and thrice, and Pantheon ults to the bottom lane. And Elise is like, I can win all, I flash. And then Yasuo's like, E. He's getting buffs too, isn't he? Haha, Pantheon. That champion is so strong, Pantheon. You know, people can't play properly, but like that thing is strong. Like very, very potent. 3-way flex too. I mean, you can probably justify support, but I wouldn't. I mean, you've got mid, you've got top, you've got jungle. You can honestly take them anywhere, and if someone's like, hey, can I get to... See, this is how you do it. I just did a diamond coaching on the coaching channel, and it was like this tether range of the camps and the dragging and the kiting was just, for some reason, so pleb-like, and this is much better to watch. It's good for the soul. This is cleansing for me right now, and that's not because he's also an ocean-based champion. So this is not bad, right? We go down here, we look, nothing, get boom, boom, boom. Cut in here, we've got 4 minutes for the Herald to be activated, so I'm relaxed. Could we, in theory, do a full clear and then cut? 100%. That is on the cards. And do we need Balmy Cinder? No, we do not. So the Even Shroud, the Radiant Virtue, and all that stuff is like just a decision-making process on your kind of play style. But the E spam here is so juicy, fresh. 4 points at the moment. We're going to chill now. Obviously, we cannot use a scanner. We don't have a control wood, so we're basically saying, look, has anyone moved into this area lately to have potentially warded? No, because we have the vision here, and we have the Asura pressure here. So we know that it is not warded. And that's what I'm talking about. A Diamond Jungler might just sit here and scan for 10 seconds, right? And it's like, well, no one's gone in the area, you know, because they're all down here, so no one could have warded, therefore it's a waste. Now, the Elise shows up. It's this. We see her going here. Jace sees it. We're like, yes, we'll follow and trail. There's no reason to do red into Krugs here. We're looking to use our Herald. The Repel is forced, which means we can then hit the ult afterwards, which means we can then hit the hook afterwards, and we get the... oh, baby. The damage is disgusting. This champion is good, my friends. And again, it's good with Night Harvester, Azonias, a little bit AP. You know, could you go Demonics with like an Even Shroud or a Radiant Virtue? Yes, you could. We cut the wave here. Of course, we have the E max, which means we are clearing waves and camps nicely. That turret kills it. We get the auto attack passive there. The repost is used on our hook. We have our shield already used now. Actually, we have our shield available. Excuse me. I just assumed he was too tanky, so I assumed he used it, but he very clearly didn't. Eyesight check. Pantheon is now back in the mid lane. Really nice stuff, guys. There we go. See, now he's used the W. Now he used it. So basically, you're seeing something that can 226 cross early, which means it gives you a lot of options. Because the problem is when you, say, do a blue side with a leash and you cross it like 235, now the idea of kind of wasting time to defend and rotate for early ganks and fall back, ooh, he starts to slow you down in tempo a lot. But here, this is absolutely fine. For example, a Viego going boom, 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 cross down is looking at a 219 at highest level. But most will do a 2-minute 22 to 22, a 2-minute 22 to a 2-minute 26, which is respectable for most elos. But now Nautilus is doing that as well. You're like, oh, wait a second. And I have more CC and I have damage. Look at this. Look at the slows that come through from the Riptide as well. It just guarantees the follow-up. Like you're looking at here at this point, max range is 50% slow on that, right? The King, obviously. Oh, that would have hit if it was me. I mean, like, it would have hit me. I always get hit by Nautilus hooks. I don't know why. I can dodge it as much as I like, but my champions are wide. Volibears and Orns and Mundos, I always get hit. Except for the Mundo doesn't matter because passive. Rotate to the mid lane here. Ignite proc. Pike! Gaming! And now we move into the jungle here. Can we do some counter jungling, please? Just have a look. There we go. We'll E drag. There we go. A little bit of an auto attack. Another E. There we go. At least I see you down 2 levels to Nautilus Jungle. Do I care about finishing it? No, we're going to go for the hook. We don't hit. We're then going to use our ultimate again. Get the root from the passive. And another E and another shield and another protect. And the Q's up again. Look at this now. 8.97 seconds. We are rolling, baby. We are rolling. And this is working at high levels of play. This isn't just memes, my friends. This is Korean junglers are spamming this with a variety of builds. This is Kenvi spamming this at a 70% win rate with Night Harvester and things like that. It's something that's truly possible for you to use. And I think if you're playing Flex and Clash and Fives and Pros and sort of any sort of like Prime League or something like this, this could be a fun pocket pick to pull out. Without a doubt, especially with a Yasuo, especially against things like Xeris. You know, you could let them through and like they ban Vi. So you do this. You're like, oh, you ban my point and click CC. Gosh darn it. Nautilus. Cool now? I think it's cool. I like this. I'm happy. So basically, we've got Chemtech Dragon. Our Twitch is not gaming so good. Our Jace is gaming super, super good. And now we're going to go down and do this one. Jace is now killing the Fiora because the Gore Drinker into that matchup is working pretty well for him so far. And now, essentially, we can go deep into this zone here. Oh, look! I was hit by a cocoon. Oh, no. Anyway. I like how tanky we still are, right? Oh, the hook on the Spiderlings. So technically, the Elise is always good against hook champions with the Spiderlings. She will smite that, and she gets it. Then she hits it again. We have our shield up again. Pike goes for the hook again. He does hit it. She gets dragged just a little bit. Now we got to pay attention to the bottom lane. Respawning and coming over here, except we see the Kai'Sa go there. It's Saturday, April 1st, so allow me to be a little bit slow. I have a baby too, so some days I sleep, some days I don't. Now the Twitch is smacking this sucker right here. We have the scanner, the second herald is up, so we want to snack this baby up. Lisa's not trailing this, which means we could just go for the dragon, but again, high elo stuff, why go for the dragon when I can just hit my E there? So we disengage, you know, as if we're disengaging by leaving, but of course we see our whole team is coming down from this side. So we'll go and we'll hit the hook, we'll get the passive, we have a stopwatch active. We can then of course just sit still a little bit and then use our stopwatch for the bait. How easy and fresh. It's great to use it there because we're gonna go get the Zhonya's now. And a lot of people keep that active stopwatch before they buy Zhonya's, and then they don't use it in that field play, right? They'll kind of keep the stopwatch, even though it's like, well, just use it, because the next time you come on the field, you're coming with the Zhonya's and a refresh stasis. So yes, this is by far, you know, a bit of an overcommit. But you've got to enjoy yourself when you play Nautilus. Now, at the same time, it's an overcommit. So get the kill, get out, you know, don't overstay, don't whatever. You could go for this. But high elo things, right? Because look at all this vision. If we pull this play off, it's Bane backbreaking. We can fall back to this afterwards. The dragons aren't going to enter in as a win condition at all. I mean, they've taken one, who cares? Jace is just shoving this down. She's over here, you know, 3 levels down. They're pushing this for a bounty. That's just great. But, yeah, see now, obviously we don't have it in this particular case, but my point is, if you have the gold for a Zhonya's, it's going to be coming up very, very shortly, that gold, and you have the stopwatch, don't be afraid to go for an aggressive play and a dive here to use your stopwatch to get value out of it. Because if you can do that stasis and live, and everyone else can kind of make the plays around you, then you can just leave afterwards. And we'll get the Zhonya's as a reward. Now in this case, we are still a little bit off, obviously, but that's fine. We'll do the blue, we'll stitch them together with the E, we'll do the Grump here for level 11, we'll loop back up to the wolves, and then of course we can cut down here. So we can go boom, 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 loop back down. And of course the reason for that is to just check to see what the enemy team are doing. To top lane, Elise is over here. You know, Yasuo and Twitch are just gonna do it. That is also fine. You don't have to be there for it. I'm over control freak. So I would want to make sure I'm there. And if you're against the Lux, Ezreal, Global Ultimate kind of champion, yes, be there for the smite. But your team does it, that's cool. At least shows it with the rocket belt, and we're like, uh-oh. But, you know, for them, not for us, right? Pike, escape! We have the ult for disengage. The ult into the hook. We have our E up again. We used the shield to tank something. The Twitch is now spray and praying. Oh, there you go. That's much better than whatever this is. Spray and pray, Nana. Rat-a-tat-tat-tat, please, is the name. The cow accepts his fate. The Pike goes in and gets nothing. The Nautilus is like, can we just do the Herald, please? They're low. She has to leave. She cannot contest. That means we get the objective. We don't need to waste time chasing. Let's just take the cool shit. She has to leave. We take it. It's fine. Don't need to over-chase and kill. Again, so we've learned our lesson here. That was our fun play. That was our death. Now we got to focus down, make sure we get the objectives. So this was nice, right? We disengage. We are into the hook. And then, of course, you can keep using your Riptide for damage profile as well. Damage and slows, damage and slows. Now we leave the base here. We have a little bit of a hook for mobility. Hit the red. Does Twitch notice? The Moss Stomper had a little bit of a launch. Hook onto the cow. Ult onto the cow. And now we want to be a big body. Even though we're full AP, we have Zhonya's here. Our hook does not hit in this particular case. The Kai'Sa does kill the Pike, and now the Twitch does the killings here. Now we do have to be careful, right? You are AP at the end of the day. You are not super durable, and that's where the Radiant Virtue and Even Shroud and stuff comes in. You do have damage, provided you hit all your spells and your team can follow up. But if you cannot kill them in that rotation, and don't have the team follow up, you are not like some 1v1 assassin, right? So it's utility-based AP building, if that makes sense. Twitch does a good job, though. He's 447 at this point. We are a mega shilling in Viz. Shh, no one can see us. Yasuo's pretty strong at the moment, but really it's a lot about the Jace. But it's fine. We made the Jace, right? We made the Jace super potent and super strong. But now you're seeing the downside of being split up from your team, not having this real 1v1 potential. Like, you can't go sideways now and push. You can't go here and push. You can't go here and push. You have to play around your team and your full AP, which means you do get blown up. And it's not exactly... Oh, Elise is there. We saw the pet. We saw the pet. We saw the pet. Always look for those pets. You know, so it's not exactly some kind of OP mid and late game strategy. You want to go that. Dark Harvest rune set. into your Even Shroud or Radiant Virtue with Demonics perhaps, and everything else tank will be better. You can also do some a redemption kind of stuff also. This poor Fiora, man. But it's fine, because our job was to sequence early, to make the enemy jungler confused, path appropriately such that they couldn't get fed, control objectives, snowball a few lanes, and vibe with a victory. The Pantheon's now pushed into the mid lane a little bit, and we can go for this El Baron, and we activate this. Obviously, I just want to talk about it a bit slower, because we're starting this now, and Yasuo's showing up, Elisa's shoving out the pike, creating a 3 scenario versus 2 scenario. They're pushed out. So blue team knows, hey, look, can we engage on these 3 as all 5 and maybe pull this Baron out? Can we make this comeback? If you can hold this, obviously the time, if it expires, you don't have a choice, but if we can hold this for when we have Baron, make a better push, do so. But this could also be a good bait. It could also be a misclick if you want to use your scanner. So at least comes in here to push out the Yasuo and the Pike. The cow puts their body in the way. They turn off of the Baron. Twitch is now half HP already. The Zhonya's is being used. Jace is in the back line. We missed the hook to peel. And obviously it's quite difficult to peel when we don't have that ultimate available or if it's misused. You know, we die. So this is, again, you're seeing the downsides to the squishy style versus the tanky style where we could have Radiant Virtue. Versus where we could peel a lot more and tank a lot more and use our body a lot more. In this particular case, you don't have that luxury, so it's really down to hitting your spells as best you can. Now, that being said, we can still win this game very, very easily. The dragon is spawning here. It's not going to enter into win con at all, but I would like to ensure that we actually go ahead and snack it up. Kai'Sa reveals herself here, at least is revealing herself down here. We are now basically just going to go into the redemption, as I said. Go utility based at this point. Go McHale's, go into anything that gives you some sort of tankiness. They snack that bounty as well. We cannot contest that dragon. It is available, but we don't go for it. Pike's out of position. Obviously, we went up. So I was misspeaking there, but it was something you could look to do in other scenarios. We're going to go in here. Nautilus is farming the Raptors while his whole team is fighting. He was not thinking about making this fight. He was on his cams. This is something that happens in a lot of your games, guys. You go farming, the team makes a fight. You're like, oh, I should have rotated. Should have been there in the first place. You're Nautilus. You don't gain anything by farming. I know we want our items, but this was basically them going for this. We saw this. We should rotate and be with our team here. So the Nautilus should have been involved. Wasn't. Team bails them out. Now, of course, be the front line. We have the deep throw from the Pantheon here. We're just going to go ahead and kill that Elise. We'll hit that one. That hook we don't miss. Nicely done. There we go. So that's a better fight for us. But you're not a 1v9. You have to play intelligently. Back to base. Redemption is built. We have it. We can now use it. Will Twitch notice the red this time? Now he notices. Jace sees the Fiora split pushing, so let's go in here. Riposte is burned. That's what we want to hear. We'll get the root, we'll get the hook, we'll get the slow, and of course the Aftershock proc plus our W for the bonus damage jump and tankiness. And we can save this sucker here as well. Now we're shadowing just a little bit for a bit more experience. We see this down here. Is someone coming up here? We see Elise, Kai'Sa. We see everyone mid lane, so he can push. We can collapse on this now. Let Jace do his thing. Wait, chill, get the movement speed proc. They collapse on the Jace. Nice. See, this is better macro, extrapolation, watching the map the whole time. Jace will see this and disengage a little bit. We have the cow flanking on the back line here. Pike can follow us up. We're zoning with our body. We get knocked into the Pantheon. The Elise is not going to collapse in on us. We use our Riptide for the slow. We're going to disengage here. They're going in on the Jace, who's like, yes, I go. We use a redemption to try and keep him alive. We get knocked out here. The Pike is showing up. The Yasuo is showing up. The Twitch is in the back line here. Nice cleanup. Really nicely done from the Nautilus. He won't always get the kills and assists in this case. He does a little bit, a few, but you might not get the glory in these kinds of plays, but this is what wins you a game here. Gank to kill the overcommitted side laner. Let them push in. Look to see where everybody else is. Watch now. Jace is going down. They're going to cut back, so you cut off. You put your body in the middle, and you just force the whole team to be separated from each other, and your team can now collapse. It's game-winning positioning, really. You don't always have to do much, and your team has to do all the work, but your body and your positioning and your cutoff is huge. We use the stasis appropriately, use our shield for, you know, fun. Alistar shows up here, use it again, get the hook, get the kill. So, what do you think? Early game, really, really much stronger than most people think. Mid to late game, significantly weaker if you miss your spells, and in closer games when you go full AP, but significantly stronger if you have Radiant Virtue, Even Shroud, things like this. And obviously, if you are snowballing early, the damage profile is super good. Stopwatch is nice. A lot of upside. Variety is always good, and I think this is something that could be fun. Whether or not it ends up being something good, like for long periods of time, I don't know. but definitely something you could pull off in a coordinated setting, significantly more so than in solo queue. Thank you very much for watching. Like, share, and comment if you enjoyed, and as always, I will see you all in the next tutorial.